Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning in 15 minutes. To change our lives, we'll start off by giving tzedakah. Gedeilat tzedakah shmekaras ha'geula. And we'll continue davening for the people that are still in activity, unfortunately. They're going to focus on Lidor ben Dita. Lidor ben Dita should be healthy and safe. With Hashem, the army should do what it needs to do. And we should be able to bring them home safely with all the soldiers and a complete removal of all the klippah and all the evil in the world. We'll have Mashiach. Okay. So now we're talking that what I want to talk about today is that what, and this is sort of an important discussion that we have to recognize. We're here on a mission. We have something to give. And we think there's this like Torah mitzvahs, or not we think, but people think Torah mitzvahs is like this thing that Hashem puts on you, this burden you have to do, and it's a hassle, and it's not enjoyable, and that's what I got to do. But really, Torah mitzvahs is like your shlichus. It's your purpose in the world. And you make a difference. Because when you do a mitzvah, let's say you buy Shabbos candlesticks. So you have, and we'll talk about the silver pieces. When you do a mitzvah with that silver piece, you're elevating everyone that was in that process of making that silver piece. Meaning you're not just elevating that little silver piece, you're elevating the person that mined for the silver, elevating the person that refined it into usable silver. You're elevating it to the person that sold it. You're elevating the person that made the money. You're elevating the food that all those people ate, and the clothing all those people ate, and the place where they slept. And the person that makes it, you're elevating, and all the things that he was in contact with, or she was in contact with. And as you can see, if you pay attention to this, the one act you do has a ripple effect very, very far. And this applies to everything. When you eat, the food that you ate, the farmer, the animal, the person that made the food for the farmer, the person that made the food for the animal, the person that made the clothes for them to be able to do everything they do. When you elevate it by doing a mitzvah with it, eating it for the proper reasons, doing things l'shem shemayim, you're elevating the world, not just around you in your little surrounding, but like far-reaching to things and people you'll never even know. In different countries. Pretty amazing. And that's what we're going to talk about. Let's see. That the purpose is that through a yid during Torah mitzvahs, Yuvaru es nitzaitz hatov shebadavar will refine the good spark in the thing. Hagashmi v'zakechuhu v'yaluhu l'sharsha mekayim will raise it up, elevate it to its source. This is causing a general refining of the whole world, like we said. This is the whole purpose of everything in all the Seder Shtalshalos and all the levels we talked about before. We have Atzilus, and we said from us to Atzilus is so far, but we're closer to Atzilus than Atzilus is to Ein Sof, and all these contractions that happen from the beginning of all of them till the end of all of them, till we get to our physical world, which is nothing lower than it. Its whole purpose is that when we do it's for us to do Torah mitzvahs, because when we do a mitzvah, we refine everything. From this reason, most of the ideas of Torah, are included in physical things. Because the whole purpose, when you give a coin to tzedakah, it's not just you're taking a coin, you're putting tzedakah, and you're doing a mitzvah. You did the mitzvah of putting tzedakah. When you do that, you're elevating the company and the machine that made it, the coin, the people that got the medal for the coin, the people that worked on the coin, the food that those people ate, the clothing that they wear, the people that made the clothing, the stores they bought the clothing from, the apartment they live in. And it goes on and on and on. It keeps on going. And this is a simple meditation you could have when you want to, appreciate what you're doing. And when you do a mitzvah, or you learn Torah, or whatever it is, think about what you're elevating at that moment. Now we're learning what are we elevating? So there's so much stuff we're elevating. And And this is what we're saying. And that's the whole purpose. So, and meaning you might say to yourself, what's the big deal? So I'm learning. Why is such a big deal? Like giving tzedakah, I give 5 cents to charity. What's the big deal? Nothing happening. That's the whole purpose. Me give some coin charity. So first of all, we don't know what really affects, but what we do know is like we have this meditation. Now, think about it for a second. You take this coin, put in tzedakah. So the person who made the tzedakah box is getting elevated. And you're causing that person to be elevated, and all the things that he or she needed to do to be able to make that tzedakah box is getting elevated, and all the tools that they use, and all the people that made the tools for them to use, and all of those people ate, slept, drank, whatever they live is getting elevated, and your little coin in tzedakah is elevating the world at large, and that's with every mitzvah. And therefore, it could very simply, just before you do any mitzvah, I'm going to do something, I'm to learn now, whatever, or I'm going to daven now. You think for a second, I'm davening now, I'm elevating this chair that I'm sitting on. Who made the chair? Which company? Where did it come from? And just, and you think about all the steps, and then you take on those steps into each of those people. So that person that's sitting on the chair that was making the chair, so now it's elevating that chair. So his chair is also being elevated, and then you think about everyone thinking that went to making that chair, and all those people, and it goes. It's a pretty amazing what we accomplish when we do Torah mitzvahs. This is another beautiful point. That the purpose of learning Torah, and this is a very important point, learning Torah should be understood, and this is a big challenge people have when they learn. And they don't connect with learning or something. They say, yeah, it's not for me. They don't fully understand it. That's not general. I think that's most, there's always going to be an exception to the rule, but that's the rule. That if you understand Torah, it's enjoyable. We're naturally inclined to Torah and mitzvahs and learning Torah. And if we say, I don't enjoy learning Torah, it's not that you don't enjoy learning Torah. You don't enjoy not understanding the Torah that you're learning. If I would read something in Chinese, yeah, it would get boring after a while and I wouldn't enjoy it. Not because I don't enjoy the content, I just don't understand it. And a lot of times when we learn things, we don't understand it. I know with my son, when we learn Gemara and we understand, we like discuss it and he understands it, he loves it and he's so excited. And this is a very important point. When we're learning something, like we have a natural tendency to go learn. You might say to yourself, but I don't. So I was exactly like you. I also didn't. But what changed was I started to understand it. And it has to be understood in not just in intellectual terms, b'seichel hativi ve'enushi, our natural, our nefesh bahamis, the same mind that understands, that enjoy whatever it is in life, enjoy good music or enjoy good food, whatever it is, it's that same mind to understand the Torah. It has to be brought down in a way that they can understand them. Even the Pnimis Torah, which is talking about more deep ideas, Tzilus, Ak, Livni Atzimtzum, all these ideas, you can say, I don't know what that anything got to do with me. So those things, they have to be understood as well. And Hashem's unity, and also how great Hashem is. How great is Hashem? His actions. And all the faces, all the different levels above. And the point is, what he's saying is, we have to understand it in a seichel anushi, in layman's terms. The main thing is to explain it to ourselves until we'll be able to understand it in our natural soul, meaning our soul that understands food and cake and whatever it is, Dvarim Gashmim, real coarse physical things, and that's what it understands. It should also be able to understand all the course. I had a friend, one time I had a Farayan many years ago, and he said, there's a famous, we say, it's in Chumash Devarim, It says Torah lo shamayim here. Lema miyalon shamayim. It says Torah is not in heaven. We should say who's going to after us in heaven. And this is sort of the parting message Moshe is giving to the Jewish people, tell their children, and Torah is not far from us. So I had a friend who had a forbidden. He was a bit shikr, and he said, "Chassidus v'shamayim. Chassidus is in heaven." And he was trying to say that Chassidus is not talking to me. It's in heavens. It's talking about high, lofty levels I have no connection to. So what the Rebbe Rashab is answering him is that we have to learn to understand it. To understand it in a way that we can relate to it. And this is everything we're learning. And this is the key. This is the key to learning. And and unfortunately people go through the whole yeshiva system and they don't get this idea and they don't understand it and things don't relate to them. And so they don't enjoy learning, or whatever. They don't feel that's such a geschmack. And Baruch Hashem, most people learn at least a little bit, but they don't understand that the only issue that they're missing is being taught to bring it down into their lives in a way that they can understand in simple English. The chuvas hamoyach b'idiyas l'kus. So do mitzvahs with the obligation of the mind to understand godliness. Kamaim, like it says, sheyesh sham matzui rishon mamti kol nimtzayim. Now this is a Rambam right in the beginning of Rambam, which is very interesting because Rambam just started yesterday, so it's a big connection. That he's saying there's a first found being, and from that everything comes. And everything that's found in heaven and the earth, and everything between them. Hey, it's from this true founding, meaning this original thing. And the obligation of the heart with love, yira, and fear. This is the main mitzvah. Understanding of godliness. We have to understand this. These ideas, which sound very lofty, have to be understood. Because Rambam is showing you that this is the foundation of everything. You have to appreciate this in Eibishter. And this is a very important point. Like they say, don't answer the question, answer the questionnaire. You have to understand, people ask you a question. It's like you teach someone something. That's what it's like. It's like learning deep in Yonim Chassidus. The first thing people have to understand, like you're learning a maimon that's talking about the difference between ak and Atzilus. So if you don't understand the bigger picture, which is Hashem, and Hashem needs you, and Hashem needs your mitzvahs, and have that like action before you start learning, then these ideas are like, so what's the difference if ak expresses itself this way or differently than Atzilus? What's the difference if Atzilus is higher than Asiyah? Who cares? And when I started in yeshiva and I was learning these ideas, I don't understand. I don't know why we're learning this, and what does this make a difference to me? Well, and it's like, okay, whatever. But when you understand that, hey, first of all, there's an Eibishter, there's a God, and the God interacts with you in your world, and He cares about you and what you do, and you have a mitzvah and you're meant to love Him, to care about Him. But how can you do things for Him if you don't love Him and care about Him? So you say, well, what is this God? So then you start to learn all these different levels. There's God the way He is before the tzimtzum, that He has no shaykhs to you. He's totally different. Side point that He does care about you even there, which is so you know to learn. What does it mean He cares about me over there? How can He care about me if I'm so irrelevant to Him in that level? And that level don't really even exist. So how can He care? Well, first I need to teach you this thing called Atzilus. You have to understand Atzilus better, and you have to understand all these other levels. So now, learning these levels, they all make sense now. They all fit in a derech, in a path. There's purpose to it. Not just learning these random ideas, just understand random ideas. Let me understand Atzilus for Atzilus' sake. No, if I understand Atzilus, but you want to understand God, you have to understand this thing. You understand somebody, you have a friend. You need to know them. Hashem, so to speak, is like our friend. We need to know Him. So we have to understand. How can we know God? You can't fully know God, but you can know it to the best of the ability. And this is what Chassidus is teaching us, all these ideas. So that's why you learn all these things. That's one of the reasons, at least. And when you learn it that way, it all makes sense. It all fits in. Grabbing it in the physical mind understanding, and the love and the fear, and you gush him Bebasar halev mamash, and the love of Hashem should be felt in the flesh of our hearts, meaning we should physically feel emotions towards Hashem. That's what we need to do. Techal ha'avedes ha'elu, and all these avedes, him davk ve'elam hazish or elam hagash, it's all specifically in this physical world. And what we're showing here is that this is why we're here. And this is what the purpose of everything is, for us to do these things, to learn Torah, do mitzvahs, understand what we accomplish by Torah mitzvahs, to connect and to feel godliness within us, to affect the world around us. And that's why the hashpah that's going on Rosh Hashanah and Kippur is all coming down into this physical world. That's why it's meant to be specifically in this physical world. In order to be able to serve Hashem as meant to be according to the Torah mitzvahs. Kitzur, Hashefa, Bechesed, Haniktav Hu Me'atik. The chesed that's coming down to us is coming from this level of Atik. Avobam, Ayidei, Hiserus, Spheres, Atzilus, but comes through the arousal of the 10 spheres of Atzilus. The Lashama, Magia, Avodas Hanivraim, Umachseram. That in Atzilus, our Aveda reaches. And that's where it's felt. And according to the Aveda that we did in the year previously, Kain here kitzvas shana haba, so too it helps what's going to be set for the next year. But Tuluya b'tshuva of El, but really it's all dependent on the tshuva of El. The avoda the yemei slichus, and the avoda that we do on ourselves in time of slichus. The Kabbalah is al l'Rosh Hashanah, and what we take upon ourselves in Rosh Hashanah. Hamashu, and the mashu we gave miaches ma'secher v'keinav, like the person that's rent, that's giving, he is lending, crediting to people, and then it's time to pay back. And we talked about it, and if he sees that we're really trying, even though we don't fully pay back, he's happy and he's good, and he made a good profit, and he feels bad for us, and he goes, don't worry about it, you're fine, you pay as much as you can, it's good. We'll go a few days, and then I'll come back, we'll do it again. The whole purpose of all this, and getting everything that we get, begashmius, is to be able to do Torah mitzvahs. Mitzvah Hashem shall have an amazing day. We should have only good.